So greetings everyone and welcome back to 365 Days of Prog. Today we will be reviewing the album Please Don't Touch by Steve Hackett.
Hi, my name's Naomi. I'm an avid progressive rock fan, but I'm a long ways from knowing all the prog albums out there. But this year, I'm gonna give it a try. This is 365 Days of Prog.
So of course before we get into this, I have to share with you my favorite bits from the album so you could enjoy them yourself. And of course, it's not a substitute to actually listening to the album itself, so if you like what you hear right now, go and check out the album. Of course, after the video. So this album is by Steve Hackett, and if that name is not familiar to you, you should know him for being the guitarist for the band Genesis in their earlier days. He is of course known for many of his works on albums like Foxtrot, Nursery Rhyme, and of course Selling England by the Pound. And this album came out after he left the band, so his first album, The Voyage of an Occulate, came whilst he was still playing with Genesis. But this one came right in 1978 after he left the band and did some of his solo work alone. And this album, I would have to say, is very unusual but also unusually good. Because this is a prog album, you can classify it as prog, but sometimes it just isn't. On certain songs, this literally can be a completely different genre. And I think that's an interesting choice, and Steve Hackett just went ahead and did all sorts of different things and actually tried new ideas on this album. And that kind of caught me off guard because I know his first debut album and it really is my classical good prog, and this album is just completely different in many ways and aspects, and I think it's different, it's unusual, but that does not mean it's not good. So this album, besides Hackett himself, features a lot of different artists, and because I don't want to get through them all and elaborate, I'm gonna do what's known as a... So Steve Walsh of Kansas is singing on Narnia and Race in A because Steve Hackett loved his vocals on Carry On Wayward Son, and Phil Hart of Kansas also played the drums on those two tracks. Steve's brother John is playing the flute on the song Kim, which itself is largely inspired by Genopede 1. Richie Havens is playing on two songs on here, the first one being How Can I and the second one being Icarus Ascending. One he's doing good and one he's doing bad. Hoping Love Will Last features the amazing vocals by Randy That's a Lady Crawford. On the track The Voice of Neckham, it is partly played by a Mellotron which is loaded with Steve Hackett's own recorded vocals. In my honest opinion, I would have loved to hear more of Hackett's guitar on here. I think it's kind of lacking, and when it does feature, it's not really the main issue. The spotlight in this album really goes out to all the different places, which is not probably his guitar playing. And I guess that's fine, it's just really different from his first album, The Voyage of an Occulate. What I do have to say is I really love his solo guitar on the song How Can I. It's really lovely, and it ends off the song really nicely, and I think it just shows what everyone really loves about Steve Hackett's playing. But as much as I love Hackett's playing guitar in that song, I think my favorite song, and I know it's not fair because it's not really a prog song and it's more of an R&B song, it has to go to Hoping Love Will Last for everything that is done right on that song. And I think the lyrics and the singing and everything, especially what Randy Crawford's doing on there, is just fantastic, and I believe everyone, even if you're not really into that type of music, can at least appreciate a song like that. And yeah, I don't really have a lot more to say, so I guess we just move on to the next section. So what do I think of the cover itself? Well, I believe this is one of the worst covers we've seen so far. Yeah, I know, I'm sorry. I just think the colors are off, nothing's really pleasant about it. I don't really know what's good about this cover. It really is just all the way not doing things right. And by the way, you can take a look at this cover for a few more seconds, but I don't think you'll find anything really that good on it. And one thing which really bothers me is the way that the name Steve Hackett is written on it. It just feels so unrelated. The font, the text, the idea, the colors, nothing about it is working for me, and I think that's just pretty bad design. And I know this cover is made by Kim Poor, which was, at the time at least, I believe, his girlfriend. Later they would go on to marry each other. And she can draw really well, and she did some really nice work with the last album by his and the next ones, but this one just doesn't work for me. By the way, if you wish to know, her full name is actually Elizabeth Kimball de Albuquerque Poor. So I guess the last thing we have to do is to rate this album, and this one receives an interestingly fine 7 out of 10. It's good at times and it's bad at times, but mostly it is good. And that's about it, everyone. I hope that you enjoyed this one. Tomorrow, stay tuned, because we're gonna listen to Space Shanty by the band Con, their first and last album. And I'm really looking forward to that. But I'll see you all tomorrow. Bye, guys.